The summer of 1998 brought an invisible terror to Lahore's slums. Mothers in the Shadara neighborhood began noticing their sons weren't coming home after playing in the streets. At first, it was just one or two street urchins whose disappearances barely registered. But by winter, the count reached dozens. Javed Iqbal moved through these neighborhoods like a ghost. His slight frame and unassuming appearance, that of a lower-middle-class shopkeeper, allowed him to approach children without suspicion. He would offer them candy, money, or the promise of work at his toy factory. Those who followed him would never be seen alive again. The police initially dismissed the cases as runaways. It wasn't until December 1999 when 15-year-old Sajid Ahmed stumbled into a police station with burns on his arms and terror in his eyes that the nightmare was exposed. Sajid's account of being chained in a basement, watching other boys disappear one by one, led investigators to a nondescript house on Ravi Road. The summer heat clung to Lahore like a sickness in July 1999, when 12-year-old Imran left his tin-roofed shack to buy flour for his mother. He never came home. For 3 days, his father Hakim searched the labyrinth of Shadara's slums, showing a creased school photo to tea stalls and butcher shops. On the fourth morning, an old beggar woman tugged Hakim's sleeve near the railway tracks. "I saw a man with glasses take him," she whispered, her cataract-clouded eyes darting. He promised Imran work at a toy factory. The lead was one of dozens police would ignore. The lure Javed Iqbal perfected his hunting ritual over months. He would linger near Data Darbar Shrine at dusk, his frayed leather briefcase stuffed with candy and cheap toys. The children came to him like moths to a lantern, hungry, hopeful, doomed. "You have strong hands," he told 10-year-old Wasim outside a kebab stall, pressing a 50-rupee note into his palm. "I pay 100 rupees a day to test toy cars in my factory." When Wasim hesitated, Javed produced a bag of gulab jamun sweets. "Your friend Rizwan works for me. He ate 3 plates of biryani yesterday." Rizwan had been dissolved in drum number 1211 days earlier. The basement. What the children found behind the rusted gate wasn't a factory. The stench hit first, ammonia and something sweetly rotten. Then the sounds, a dripping tap, the skitter of rats, and from somewhere below a muffled whimpering that might have been human. Javed would smile as he bolted the door. "First rule," he'd say, hanging his glasses on a nail, "no screaming." His hands, speckled with acid burns, moved with surgical precision as he measured ropes and tested chains. The basement walls were soundproofed with egg cartons and old newspapers. The floor sloped toward a central drain crusted with black residue. The experiment's crime scene photos would later show a wooden work table with restraints at each corner, its surface stained a permanent brown, 7 blue acid drums labeled with masking tape. Drum number 3 was nearly full per Javed's notes, a shelf of chemistry books with dog-eared pages on rapid tissue dissolution. But the most chilling discovery was the ledger. The ledger page 67, dated September 3rd, 1999. Subject number 41, male, approximately. 14 years, resisted strongly, applied new method. Electrodes to genitals produced satisfactory compliance. Lasted 6 hours before cardiac arrest. Solution: 3 parts sulfuric to 1 part. Hydrogen peroxide works best for larger specimens. The entries read like a shopkeeper's inventory. Victim number 83's sneakers were noted as good condition, save for left shoelace. Victim number 12's shirt had 3 buttons missing, replaced from bundle number 9. The missed opportunities, March 1999. A chemical supplier reported Javed buying 40 liters of sulfuric acid weekly. Police assumed it was for jewelry cleaning. August 1999. Neighbors complained of a smell like burning pork. Municipal workers blamed sewer gas. December 1999. A fruit vendor saw Javed dragging a twitching burlap sack into his house. When confronted, Javed smiled. Just a sick dog. The escape that changed everything. Sajid, the boy who got away, would describe how Javed made a rare mistake on December 17th, 1999. Distracted by a police siren outside, he left the basement door ajar while carrying a fresh drum of acid. I waited until I heard the bubbling sound, Sajid would later testify, his voice barely audible in the courtroom. Then I ran past the drums, the chains, up the stairs. His bare feet left bloody prints on the steps. The raid. When police finally stormed the house at 3:17 a.m. on December 19th, they found a pot of chai still warm on the stove, the ledger open to a half-completed entry for victim number 101, a single child's sandal floating in drum number 7, but Javed was gone. On the last page of the ledger, written in hurried script unlike his usual precise hand, was a note that would haunt investigators. The work continues elsewhere. The phone rang in the dead of night, 3 shrill bursts that clawed Inspector Rana from sleep. The voice on the other end was calm, almost polite. You have until dawn to meet me at Data Darbar. Come alone, or the remaining bodies vanish forever. A pause, then the click of the receiver. Rana knew that voice. The shrine at midnight Data. Darbar's white marble glowed under the moon, its towering minarets casting jagged shadows. The usual crowds of devotees were gone, only the scent of rosewater and burnt incense lingered. And him, Javed Iqbal, sat cross-legged beneath the shrine's grand chandelier, feeding pigeons with methodical flicks of his wrist. His glasses caught the light, turning his eyes into 2 blank mirrors. Inspector. He didn't look up. Tell me, did Sajid describe the chains, the way they bite into the ankles after the first hour? Rana's hand twitched toward his holster. Ah. Javed smiled, revealing yellowed teeth. No guns in God's house, besides ... He reached into his shalwar pocket. You'll want to see this. A Polaroid fluttered to the ground. A boy. No older than 10, his mouth stitched shut with fishing wire. The confession. What followed wasn't an interrogation, it was a performance. Javed spoke for hours, his voice a serpent's whisper. He described the first kill, Arif, 1988. 12 years old, my own nephew. He laughed when I couldn't perform. The acid made it better. No evidence, no shame. The ritual. I'd let them hope, feed them sweets, wait until they called me uncle. Then, his fingers mimed a noose tightening. The acid. The bubbles rise fastest around the eyes, like tiny screams. Then, the worst revelation. 100. Javed leaned in, breath reeking of cardamom. Child's play, the real number? Even I lost count. The Selcott Lakpat jail's high-security wing couldn't break him. Guards reported. Javed sang lullabies at night, the same ones mothers sang to the missing boys. He sketched portraits of his victims from memory, mailing them to grieving families. When shown crime scene photos, he licked his lips at the drum labeled full. But one thing unnerved even him. A reporter smuggled in a photo of Sajid, the boy who escaped. Javed's hands shook. He wasn't supposed to live, he hissed. The count was perfect. For the first time, the monster showed fear. The Midnight Visitor. October 7th, 2001, the night before his execution. The guard heard scraping from Javed's cell. Peering through the bars, he saw the prisoner standing ramrod straight, facing the wall. Something moving in the shadows, a shape too tall, too thin. A whispered conversation in a language that wasn't Urdu. At 3:17 a.m., the backup generator failed. When lights returned, Javed hung from his own chains, face frozen in a grin, tongue blackened, eyes gouged out. On the wall, scrawled in what forensics confirmed was his own blood. The work continues. The first flood after Javed's death washed strange things ashore along the Ravi. Fishermen pulled their nets taut to find them snarled with scraps of clothing, tiny shirts and shorts knotted together like grotesque Christmas garlands. When municipal workers dredged the riverbed, their shovels struck something that made even the hardened laborers recoil. 7 more drums, their blue paint blistered but still legible, each marked with a single word in Urdu. Full. The teacher's discovery. Madam Shazia's 3rd-grade class at government primary school made the connection first. During a geography lesson about local rivers, 8-year-old Aisha raised her hand. "Madam, why do the pictures in our math book smell funny?" The teacher took the tattered textbook, a donated copy from 1999, and felt the pages stick together near the back. When she peeled them apart, the class screamed. Pressed between lessons on fractions was a flattened lump of chewing gum holding, a lock of auburn hair tied with pink thread, a slip of paper reading Bundle Number 72. The faded imprint of small teeth marks. The school's record showed the book had once belonged to Tahir Mahmood, missing since August 1999. His mother identified the hairpin as one she'd used to fasten her son's school uniform. The night watchman's tale. Old Fazal, who guarded the demolished house on Ravi Road, began seeing things after the 2010 floods. At exactly 3:17 a.m., he'd tell anyone who bought him tea, the water pump starts by itself. His trembling hands would sketch the scene. The derelict lot where Javed's house once stood, the lone working hand pump creaking to life, spewing not water but a thick, syrupy black liquid that smelled of burnt sugar and metal. Then came the sounds, the high, reedy laughter of children. But when Fazal swung his lantern, the shadows scattered like roaches, leaving behind wet footprints too small for any living child in the neighborhood. The unsolved deliveries. Between 2016 to 2019, 3 separate families received packages containing a set of handmade wooden tops traced to Javed's alleged toy factory, VHS tapes showing footage of their missing sons, dated years after their disappearances, a receipt for 100 liters of sulfuric acid purchased in 2018. The CCTV from the courier office showed the parcels being dropped off by a man in thick glasses who always stood just outside the camera's focus. The last photograph. On the 20th anniversary of Javed's execution, crime reporter Ali Hassan received an envelope with no return address. Inside, a Polaroid of a stainless steel laboratory vat filled with amber liquid. Floating in it, barely visible, was a child's hand pressed against the glass, scrawled on the back, "Batch number 101, improved formula." The photo's metadata indicated it was taken in 2020.